Today's lesson is on finding the percent of a number. After today, you will be able to find a percent of a quantity as a rate per 100. First, we'll look at our key idea for finding the percent of a number. Write the percent as a fraction or decimal, then multiply. So for example, if we're doing 20% of 60 is 12, we can write 20% as a fraction, which would be 1/5. So we could do 1/5 times 60 equals 12. Or we could write 20% as a decimal. 20% as a decimal would be 0.2 or 2/10. So we could do 2/10 times 60 equals 12. Now we'll look at our first example for finding the percent of a number. We're going to use a fraction to find the percent of a number. For A, we want to find 25% of 40. 25% is 25 over 100, and 25 over 100 would be 1/4. So we have 1/4 times 40. We're going to multiply the numerator, 1 times 40, and then we're going to put the denominator of 4. We can simplify 4 and 40 by dividing by 4, and 40 divided by 4 is 10. 4 divided by 4 is 1. For the numerator, 1 times 10 is 10. And then we have that over 1, which equals 10. So 25% of 40 is 10. For B, we're going to find 60% of 150. 60% would be 60 over 100, and that would simplify to 3/5. So we're taking 3/5 times 150. We're going to multiply the numerator, so 3 times 150, and put that over the denominator of 5. We can simplify 150 and 5 by dividing by 5, and 150 divided by 5 is 30, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now we can multiply 3 times 30, and 3 times 30 is 90, and 90 over 1 is 90. So 60% of 150 is 90. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. Use a fraction to find the percent of a number. For number 1, we're going to find 90% of 20. 90% would be 90 over 100, which is 9/10. So we have 9/10 times 20. Now we're going to multiply the numerator, 9 times 20, and put that over our denominator, which is 10. And now we can simplify. 20 and 10 can both be divided by 10. So 20 would become 2 when we divide it by 10, and 10 divided by 10 is 1. Now when we multiply across, 9 times 2 is 18. And then we have that over 1, and 18 over 1 is 18. So 90% of 20 is 18. For number 2, we have 75% of 32. 75% would be 75 over 100. And when we simplify 75 over 100, we get 3/4. So we're doing 3/4 times 32. Now we're going to multiply our numerator, 3 times 32, and put that over our denominator of 4. Now we can simplify. 32 and 4 can both be divided by 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now we multiply across. 3 times 8 is 24. And then I have that over 1. And 24 over 1 is 24. Now we're going to look at our second example for finding the percent of a number. How many students went on vacation? A would be 48, B 96, C 100, and D 104. From the survey, you can see that 48% of 200 students said yes. So we need to find 48% of 200. The word of is multiplication. So we're going to do 48% times 200. We can write 48% as a decimal. 48% as a decimal would be 0.48 or 48 hundredths times 200, and that answer would be 96. So 96 students went on vacation, so our answer would be B. Now we have additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. Use a decimal to find the percent of a number. For number 1, we're going to do 15% of 40. 15% as a decimal is 0.15. So we're going to do 0.15 times 40, or 15 hundredths times 40. Now when we multiply this out, we'd have 0.15 times 40. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. And 0 times 0 is 0. Now for our second row, we would start with a 0. And then 4 times 5 is 20. So we have our 0 and carry our 2. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 2 is 6. And then 4 times 0 is 0. Add up our 2 rows. And we would get 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. And then we bring down our 0. Now we're going to move our decimal. In our problem, we have 2 numbers after our decimal. So we're going to move it over 2 places from the right. So we're going to move over left, 1, 2. So our answer would be 6. So 15% of 40 is 6. Now for our second example, we have 4% of 70. So we're going to convert 4% to a decimal, and that would be 0.04 or 4 hundredths. So we have 4 hundredths times 70. Now we're going to go ahead and multiply that out. So we have 0.04 times 70. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. And then 0 times 0 is 0. Starting our second row, we start with a 0. And then 7 times 4 is 28. We're going to carry our 2. And 7 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. And then 7 times 0 is 0. Now we'll add up our 2 rows. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 2 is 2. And then we bring down our 0. Now we're going to move our decimal over 2 places. So starting at the right, we move over to left 2 places. So 1, 2. So our answer is 2.8, or you could say 2.80. Either one would be correct. If you don't have this 0 on the end, that is perfectly fine. So 2.8 or 2.80. Don't forget to fill out your notes, and remember to watch the video again if needed.